Welcome to Saving America. This is your host, Dr. David D. Schein. Our series of interviews for Saving America establishes that the world is full of interesting people. Once you hear from our next guest, I'm sure that you'll agree that he deserves the moniker of an interesting person. Saving America welcomes Eric M. Wohlwend. And who, after losing 3 jobs, bought his first rental property with the last of his money. In the next 2 years, he and his wife rehabbed, rented, and refinanced 20 units to become financially free by the time he was only 30. Since then, they have rehabbed and repositioned over 1,000 more units. They have consolidated their various coaching and other activities under Clear Sky Training Limited. He and his family have 4 best-selling books and own and operate multiple businesses. They do this and still spend half their time traveling and speaking all over the world. Using what he teaches, both of his kids started buying real estate when they were 7 years old without their parents' money or credit. Eric and his family host the Real Power Family radio program, which is on the Brushwood Media Network. Their most recent book is Family Success Triangle, Be, Do, Have. We had to shorten this bio so we'd have time for the interview itself. We welcome Eric M. Wohlwend for his first appearance on Saving America.
Thank you so much, Dr. Schein. It is a pleasure to be here.
And it's a pleasure to have you over here. As you know, we ask our guests 3 questions. So the first one is, so many people face tough challenges like losing 3 jobs in a row, and then they just give up. What made you different? Why? And also, why real estate versus some other form of business?
When I graduated at 17, did a year of college, and then joined the Army so I could pay for college. It was always beat into me that you have to do this. And we didn't look at the ROI of actually getting a degree. I just blindly went where my parents had taught me my whole life to go. After that, I realized, man, this is hard. I got to pay for this. I can't even get enough loans, and I'm working 3 jobs. I never considered giving up. So I joined the Army, did 4 years active duty, ended up 13 years total. And in that time frame, I was a platoon sergeant. I was a medic in the Army. I was treating people. I had 40 guys working for me. I had 12 ambulance squads that were running 24 hours a day. And the bottom line is, as a platoon sergeant, if I made bad decisions, people could die. As a medic, if I made bad decisions, people could die. So you ask, how did I go and not give up? I never considered giving up. It didn't matter what happened. Most of my adult life at that point in time, if I made a bad decision or if I just gave up, people would die. And so I just never gave up. I don't know how to give up. Even today, I can't imagine walking away and giving up from something.
Well, it's pretty fascinating. But the second part of my question is, why real estate once you got into your own business versus something else?
That is not a simple question. I knew how to work with my hands. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
Right before I lost my last job, I decided to buy my first rental property. And about the same time as I got fired, I got it rented. So I finally got my first check, and definitely not 2 before I lost that job. But it wasn't enough to make the payment on having another vacant house. I couldn't even make the payment on my own house. And, I'm counting on people paying rent, and my wife is making $8.50 an hour. So there's no way we're living off of that. And I just decided, you know what? If we're going to do this, I've lost 3 jobs in 2 years, and each one I immediately came back. I got a better job paying me twice as much money, give or take, within a few weeks of losing the one before that. And I just decided I'm done. I'm not going to get another job ever. I am going to start my own business. It is going to be, involve real estate. And I would just like to buy houses, fix them up, and rent them out. And that has evolved into 18 different businesses, including multiple holding companies, a construction company, a real estate brokerage, a little bit of lending, and a bunch of training companies, multiple books, a radio show. But it all stems from that first decision of trying to create a better life for my family. And I just happen to choose real estate as the vehicle to do it.
Well, that's a fantastic story, and I'm sure it'll inspire our audience. And our second question is, your current book is Family Success Triangle, Be, Do, Have. Share with our audience how this book will help them with raising their children, which I thought was kind of an interesting approach.
After, as I said, as a sergeant in the Army, I had plenty of people working for me and I took care of them. Frequently, they were older than me. I got promoted very rapidly. And yet, it's kind of like raising kids or taking care of, protecting your children. You want to push them, you have to get the job done. And at the same time, you want to put them in as little harm as possible or in the way. And that's not always easy in the jobs that we did. I mean, I was an airborne sapper, jumped out of airplanes, blew stuff up. So not everything is, quote, safe. You're not ever secure. And here I go on a tangent. I always do this. Could you tell me the question again?
Sure. And we want you to talk about your current book because
Oh, the book.
you
Yeah,
talked
sorry
about
about
how
that.
that fits in with raising kids, which I thought was an interesting approach. Okay.
After leading troops in the Army and then starting businesses and hiring people, I looked after these people the same way I did in the Army. And then I finally had children last. And there's very little difference. If you can be a good leader, you can be a good father. And I know my kids will probably say I'm a little bit too militant, a little bit too much of a drill sergeant, and that may be. And they get incredibly good results. I mean, they're right now, as we record this, they're recording their own radio show that'll go out to millions of people without any adults. It's just the two teenagers talking. So I
Excellent.
have instilled good values in them. And the most important of those values, I wrote my perception of what that should be in my book, Family Success Triangle. And then the second half of the chapter, my wife wrote her perception of what it should be. And you can see sometimes we're completely aligned and sometimes we're way off base. We come in wildly different, but we all have the same basic morals and ethics. And that's what we taught our children. That's what I put into my book. And it really doesn't matter if you're running a business, if you have trouble with employees, or if you're a sergeant in the Army, or just a father or a mother. The same basic principles can guide you through everything. That's why I wrote the book, Family Success Triangle.
Sounds great. And speaking of radio shows, our third question is, you've got your whole family doing a program on Brushwood called Real Power Family Radio Show. Tell us a little bit about that show and what are you trying to do for your audience?
I'm trying to make their world a better place. Every single day we end with use what you learned here today to make the world a better place. From the time my first son, Devin, was born, I think the first couple of weeks of his life, I told him, I want you, go out and change the world. And then I realized there's very bad people in the world that change it for the worse. So I changed what I was saying because I think words have power. They're very important to use exactly the right word. That is the problem with the governments and the media today. They're changing the definitions of words. So when I say
Yes.
something, I am very specific. And I told Devin, go out. I want you to go to sleep. I love you. And I want you to dream about making the world a better place. And I have said that to him for 17 and a half years of his life. And the 14 or 15-year-old, uh, at least in a couple of weeks, he'll be 15. I've said it every night of his life. I love you. I want you to go to sleep and dream about making the world a better place. That is what I want to do, not just for our family, not just for my city or state or even the America. I want to give the information that people need to make the world better. I want them to step back and see and not be controlled by emotions and especially not fear. I want them to form a good, hopefully a family unit, or you get your tribe together, whatever that tribe, whatever that group is, and you help each other. And that will make everybody's world better. And when you get good at that and you have a nice, strong family or a strong group of people, then take it to the next level and help the next level to get bigger. And I find that writing books and having my own radio show is the best way to do these things and reach the most amount of people.
Well, that's fascinating. Of course, it makes you a perfect interview for Saving America because part of our objective is to make America better. And I think if we make America better, that will help to make the world better. How can our audience get more information about you, your family, and your various activities? Where's the best places to look?
I am the father of the Real Power Family. You can type Real Power Family anywhere. We're on the Brushwood Media Network. We're on YouTube. I think we're on TikTok, Facebook. If you type it in, my name, Eric M. Wohlwend, on LinkedIn, I'm there. And we all have our own X accounts and LinkedIn accounts. But just Real Power Family, it's always about the family. It's not just me, it's not just my wife. It is about the group working together that makes us all stronger.
Fantastic. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Eric M. Wohlwend, this is Dr. David D. Schein for Saving America. Thanks for joining us, and please subscribe on your favorite platform.